Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my labor and delivery story finally. My daughter is almost 8 months old. She'll be 8 months old on the 11th. So it's kind of late to be sharing. But if you're interested in hearing about my labor and delivery, then just keep on watching. Okay, now to start off, on March 10th, 2016, all day I had been feeling really weird, but I had so many times where I thought, ooh, maybe I'm going to be in labor soon. I think I'm having contractions. I think I should be checked, this, that, and the other thing. So I had been into labor and delivery quite a few times, even through my second pregnancy, knowing what labor felt like. But yeah, no, I just felt different. So that night I cut my boyfriend's hair, and right towards the end of it, I had a really bad contraction. I was like, oh, like took the breath out of me. I thought I was going to throw up. It was not good. So that kind of went away after one or two contractions. It went away. So at 8:30 that night, I thought that I had to pee. So we were just sitting there watching a movie. I hadn't been having any contractions or anything. I went upstairs, I went to the restroom. I actually did have to pee. Then I came back downstairs and we continued watching the movie. I made egg rolls, I was eating those. And then I was like, this was probably like 5 minutes later. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to pee again. Like, this is ridiculous. I hope, the last week or two of my pregnancy is not going to be like this, because it was like 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes after I had just gone to the bathroom. So I sat myself up off the chair, I stood up, and I was like, oh. Like, I thought I peed myself, so I kind of ran up the stairs. The first step that I took, my water definitely broke. It was a big gush, it was disgusting. I knew right then that it was my water. I didn't call immediately just because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if they would do anything for me, but I did eventually end up calling. So at 10:20, I finally called them, and they told me to come in just to be checked, just to make sure, because if it wasn't, then not to worry about it. But if it actually was, you have to have your baby within a certain amount of time of your water breaking, just because that can lead to infection. It can just be too dry of a delivery. It can be really scary for the baby. So we got ready and we went in for 10:30, or we left the house at 10:30. So we went in. Immediately after I sat down and the doctor came in, she knew for a fact that it was my water, just because there was water everywhere. So she did a swab anyway, and she sent it in for a test. And funny story is, on the way to the hospital after my water broke, I had a pee pad on the car seat, and I was wearing a normal heavy flow pad. I had to change my pad while we were driving. It was so disgusting. So anyway, she confirmed it. She said, it is your water, but we're going to send you home because you're not having contractions, you're not in labor, and the baby's not coming right now, so it's no rush. So go home, go to sleep. If your contractions start, and if they're every 2 to 3 minutes, lasting a minute for an hour, come in and we'll check you and do all that stuff and see if you're ready to deliver your baby. They told me to call back at 6:30 in the morning to have a good rest. So I thought my contractions would start like immediately. I think that's what people think, is once their water breaks, their contractions immediately start. But unfortunately that didn't happen to me. So at 6:30 I called them, and they told me that they were extremely busy, so they wanted me to call back at 9:30. I did call back, and they told me, since you're not having any contractions, you're not in labor, the baby's still not ready to come out yet, to rest, to get ready, and come in for 11 o'clock. So that's what I did. I had a shower, I made sure I had everything packed for the baby, made sure the car seat was put in properly, and hung out with my son for a little bit longer, just because that would be the last time that I would see him, just him, without my daughter. So when I got there, they did check me. I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I had only been like up 1 centimeter. at any of my appointments that I had had, and I had had 2 membrane sweeps. So I had a membrane sweep 2 days before my water broke. So I think that that did it, but anyway, so I was 4 centimeters dilated and 50% effaced, and at 11:20 I got my IV. So I had my fluid starting, and then I got the Pitocin. I decided that I wasn't going to really wait any longer, just because I didn't want increased risks of a cesarean if, you know, my labor didn't work the way it was supposed to, if I didn't have her within the period of time that I was allotted. So I decided on that, which I'm actually really happy that I did. So 11:20, I got my Pitocin, and contractions started immediately. They were 2 to 3 minutes apart, lasting a minute, but I didn't really feel them. I could talk through them, I could laugh. Some of them kind of pinched a little bit, but for the most part, I could deal with them. At 4 p.m., they came back in and checked me, and I hadn't really progressed much. Not really dilated. I think I effaced a little bit. I think she said I was 70% effaced by that point, but my doctor, luckily, who was on call, delivered my baby. When she checked me, she realized that my water had sealed back up, so there was a pocket of water above the baby's head, so my water had broken, but all the water, the pressure from the water pushed the amniotic sac down, and there was fluid built up, and then the baby's head. So the baby's head was not pushing on my cervix to dilate it. Once she broke my water, contractions immediately got so intense, I could barely handle them. They were so strong because my Pitocin had been up to a level 14, and that's pretty strong to not really feel them. So all of a sudden, her head just started pushing against my cervix, which was insane. It hurt so bad. So after, I think, 4 contractions, she decided to check me. I went from 4 centimeters dilated and I think 4 centimeters and 70% effaced to 7 centimeters and 90% effaced in the matter of a few minutes. So that was crazy, and all of a sudden I had to poop. I felt like I had to poop so bad. Sorry for the TMI, this is a labor and delivery story, and having a baby is disgusting. So if you don't want to hear it, I would skip ahead a little bit. So I had to poop so bad, so I got up out of bed, I went to the bathroom. I had one of the worst contractions I had had at that point as I was sitting down on the toilet. I went to the bathroom. It wasn't because I had to push, it was because I had to use the bathroom. And I stood up and had another contraction, but I remember I was holding on to the bar that was beside the toilet, and I was just grasping it with everything that I had, and I had my IV pole in my other hand, and as I had a contraction, blood sprayed everywhere. It was absolutely disgusting. I feel bad for the person that had to clean it up completely. I tried cleaning it in between my contractions, but I got about as good as I can. So after I got back to my bed, I had a few more contractions, and I still felt like I had to use the bathroom really bad, but I knew that I didn't. They didn't check me. I don't know why. I think just because my water was broken and they didn't want to interfere too many times. So yeah, I still felt like I had to use the bathroom, but I knew it wasn't her coming out yet. And at 4:45 I had my epidural, which kicked in almost immediately, thank goodness, because it was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my life. Remember, around 4 o'clock I was only 7 centimeters dilated and 70% effaced. At probably about 4:45, no, sorry, probably at around 5 o'clock, I got checked again, and I was 10 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced, ready to push. So they asked me to do a few practice pushes. I did one, and they told me to stop because she was going to come in. So they got the table ready, they took the end of the bed off, they had everything that they needed for my daughter to be born. At 5:42, I started pushing. Now, within one contraction, her head was out, and I was so surprised. I was talking to the doctor like, oh my goodness, is this for real? Is her head actually out? I can't believe it. You know, just so surprised that it was that easy to get her out. I think just because I had the epidural right before I started pushing, like an hour before I started pushing. But no, they told me to stop talking, shut my mouth, and push again. So I pushed one more time, not even through an entire contraction, just one more time. And at 5:48, my daughter was born. Now she was 8.2 pounds, so 8 pounds 2 ounces, 20 inches long, and that's a decently sized baby. My son was 7 pounds 13 ounces and 19 inches or 18 inches long, I think. So it was a bigger baby, but delivered so much easier. I was so overwhelmed. I started breastfeeding immediately, and things have been absolutely great. I think if all labor and deliveries were like that, I would have 50 kids. So I hope anybody that has stuck it out this long enjoyed. I do plan on making a few more baby-related videos, so be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can see those coming up. And I hope you have a great day or night or whatever it might be, and I will see you in my next video.